Hey guys, welcome back to Playing in Space with Planet Ted. It is October 11th, 2023. I'm currently in better shape. I got under the weather the last 2 days. Must have eaten something wrong, but feeling better, ready to roll. Oops, somebody just messaged me. Give me just a bit. Just started a bit. Oh, somebody just walked in the door. Hey, come on up, say hi so we can get rid of you. Oh, you've got a bone with you. Got a bone. Oh, you brought me a gift. Is this yours? Is that yours? Did you want that? Is that yours? Are you happy with that? Okay, go ahead. All right. So, I had planned on a couple of days ago doing a video today, and I'm still going to do part of that video of showing you guys the fit that I have for the ishkur that I bought the other day, and I did a comparison of the ishkur versus two other ships, and the growth that I'm slowly working toward becoming kind of a medium type player. But as I was flying this around, yes, the last couple of days, and kind of wonking in the brain from being ill, I had a few remembrances and things that I need to prepare prior to moving on past this ship. Now, it's going to be a little while till I do that, but my ultimate goal is to fly ships that are pretty cool. And maybe Tech 2s, maybe getting some Tech 3s down the road and do videos on those and what I feel about them. But then I had an epiphany or a remembrance of something that happened to me years and years ago whenever I did a quick little stint with Eve and was trying to get back into it. And I don't want to say it made me grief quit, but, or not quit, to, what, not grief quit, Steam. That's what I'm looking for. I used to play a lot of online poker, regular poker, and somebody steams and they just walk away from a table or they do stupid things. Almost made me do that back then, and that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today. But I will give you guys just a quick update on the ishkur, where it's at, and what I've been able to do with it, and then I'll talk about future plans into some of the ships that I might be getting into. So the ishkur is here. I did a quick fit. Now, this may or may not be the best fit in the world with the skills that I have. The tough part I got into with was what type of rigs do I want to throw on it, and I'm a little bit messed around there. Plus, I'm also not using all of its bonuses. I'm not using the assault damage control. But I've only been using this to do level 2 security missions so that I could build my stats up to maybe do some more missioning. Um, Ironically, just last night before I shut off, I was able to get level 3 security missions through the Federation Navy because I've been able to get those skills up. So I haven't done one of those yet. I may do one of those tonight, see if I can pull it off with the ishkur. But in general, I would say this is a medium road, if not lower based ishkur. It does not have all of the bells and whistles that you could have on this ship. Uh, Partly because I'm still learning to fly it, partly because my skills aren't the best yet. I have the ship up to, or my skills up to, level 3 of assault frigates. Um, so right now it only does 188 DPS. Let's round it up to 190 DPS on the ship. That's with the guns. I've got short range, neutron, particle accelerators. I don't have the Tech 2s because I don't have the skills to do Tech 2s yet. That's where I say this is kind of a middle of the road. And I'm using just antimatter charges in that. I threw on uh, the micro warp drive because I get the bonuses from the traits of the ship for that. I did do a little bit of research and through looking at some different fits in a couple of videos, and one of the first times I've ever thrown on an extra cap battery onto a ship. This has allowed my capacitor to be a little bit more stable. I'm still working on that, but without that on there, my capacitor is at 35 seconds. Throwing this on here basically doubles that to 110 seconds. Also, I threw on a omnidirectional tracking unit and a sensor booster, a Tech 2 sensor booster. This was something that I'm not sure I completely need. It does increase my range bonus and my scan resolution. So I'm still trying to work with that and try this out. And then the omnidirectional was just kind of one of those last things I threw in because I've got the drones flying around and that helps out. Down below here, to try to boost my damage, I have done the drone damage amplifier Tech 2s. Could I switch these out for the guns? Yeah. And maybe do something to help with the guns. Could I do an assault damage control system on here? I could do that, but I've only got 3 slots here to work with. And I really want to use this armor repair. I've thrown on a small armor repair 2 for it because you're getting the bonuses for that with the ship itself. Last but not least, I threw on a drone speed augmenter because I want to get these drones as quickly to their targets as possible, but also to be able to protect them a little bit, giving them their own little amount of transversal. And last but not least, I threw on a nano pump level 1 just to help with my armor tanking. I have only flown this for about a day and a half. I think there's a couple of things that I could definitely improve or try out differently. Maybe throw some different ammo in here. I've got some skills to work on with it that would help in later things. This is it's not a full-fledged drone boat. It's not a full-fledged gun boat. It's kind of in between both. So kind of gives you a bonus of both sides that you can do. And that's where I kind of want to focus my future ships on. Like I want to grow from this to the destroyers and more so your cruisers, I think, and then past that, focusing on using drone abilities for those ships, and then catching up on the gunnery stuff with the Galente ships here. And then that kind of filters into what I had an epiphany on that I want to talk about tonight, probably briefly, but you know how I can get wordy. Because I was thinking, I started doing a little bit of research on, okay, once I get done flying the Ishkur down the road and the things that I learned from it, what is the next ship that I want to move on to? And obviously, the next ship would be a half drone boat, half gun ship, armor tanky ship. So looking into the ship tree, I thought I would have it up here on my quick menu, but I don't. So we will go down to utility ships, and we'll go into the ship tree. There we go. Galente. So right now, I've got the Ishkur. I did actually just train up, and I'm literally, I'm like 30 minutes away from getting into an interceptor if I ever do want to fly one of those. So maybe I'll do a video on that. Now, the next obvious stage would be to go into a destroyer. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I don't really think that's where I want to go to with this ship. Now, possibly into a Hecate. I don't know a whole lot about them. I haven't done a lot of research. But my honest opinion is the next step that I'd want to move into would be a cruiser. Now, here's the tough part. Well, I'll go over the ship itself, but I'm going to hit on a major point of interest that I think everybody should keep an eye out for. And then I want to talk about things that can mitigate that risk of doing that. So, just doing some quick research, and I knew a lot of this prior for your lower levels. If you're wanting to go with mostly a drone boat, um, and then adding on to that your gunnery, the simplest one to get into is your Vexter. Maybe the one of the more useful ships in Eve, one of the easier to fly once you get your drone level 5s up, because it gives you a lot of um, options. Um, Now, to be honest, this is not the ship that I want to get into because I've flown enough of these. Back in the day and even recently, a Vexer, like I said, is very easy to get into. And if you look at the price, we'll get into this a lot more, it's fairly cheap. It's 14 million ISK to get into. Ironically, the ishkur that I was flying was about 26 million ISK. So I could buy 2 regular Vexers for the price of one um, ishkur. That is not what I want to do. What I want to do with moving into like a medium level ISK user and flyer is to move into um, better Tech 2 and Tech 3 ships. Now, the first one that you'd want to look at would be your Vexter Navy issue. Now, this one can be flown by Omega characters, and this is where I had my epiphany. And then it can also be flown, obviously, by Omega characters, where you can get into your level 5 bonuses, which really make this sucker fly. Um, and if you notice, it gives you your drone hit points, damage, and tracking speed bonuses. Um, and it also gives you your hybrid damage and tracking speed bonuses. So, and it gives you your armor repair amount bonuses. So it gives you all 3 of the major bonuses that the Ishkur gives you. And so it's the obvious next step. Then my brain blew up on the remembrance of why I almost quit Eve a while back. So I say I played Eve about 10 years ago. On the in between the 10 years ago and 2 years ago when I really got back into Eve, I would try every once in a while and play. Just, you'd have like the winter time off and you're sitting in the house. And I'd pull up Eve and I'd make an alpha character and I'd play it for a while. And then one time I did it where I had an alpha character and I thought, oh, this is a fun game again, blah, 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 blah. Because when I originally started playing, you had like 2 free weeks and then that was it. So I did the alpha character thing and I worked my way up over like a month or 2 or 3 to the point where I could fly a Vexter Navy issue, got that ship, and there's probably a lot of you that have heard this story before. I was living in HiSec, worked my way up, paid for that ship, took it out in a HiSec system, and was just doing a mission or a site or maybe it was something that I scanned down. I can't remember. It was literally the first day I was flying it. Spent the money on it and got ganked. While I was in the middle of doing my thing, a tackle ship flew in, and then all of his buddies flew in and blew me up. And not to get into the whole ganking and griefing and gosh, I've done that before, and boy, you get blown up with a bunch of comments on that. I honestly don't care about either one. Back then I did because I had just spent like 2 or 3 months working to try to get to the ship that I was so proud of and then got blown up by. But it made me understand some of the articles later on that I read about how HiSec can actually be more dangerous than nullsec or even lowsec, if you can believe it, because HiSec can lull you into a false sense of security, because I'm flying around in low-costing ships, and I'm being smart enough not to haul expensive things, or if I do, I'm only doing it for short periods of time. But as you're moving up that tree of ships that you want to get into, you're making yourself more and more of a target for people who are looking for kills on kill boards. Um, and they're not worrying about how much money they're making. This is what they do for fun. And I have nothing against this at all. Um, it sounds weird, but it is part of the game. It's really one of the more interesting parts of the game, that the game is not about you fighting against the game. It's about you fighting against other people and their wants and needs for that. It's why they go out and shoot at miners. It's why they go out and shoot at blingy ships. And if you're willing to go out and buy a blingy ship, you better be willing to go out and lose a blingy ship. But there are ways that you can mitigate that. Um, First one being, obviously, to put the known pirate organizations into your overview, um, and make sure that they are tagged so that when they do show up in your system, you have an eye out for it. That is not 100% a fail-safe, because these guys are smart. They're going to use other ships and other things and throwaway ships to be able to sneak up on you and get things. So there's a couple of more or better things that you can do to keep yourself safe and move up into other ships. And the easiest one is just join a coalition or a big group that lives out in nullsec, and these guys won't come out and find you. Other people will. But they're just looking to kill you to kill you. They're not looking to kill you because you have a really nice ship. But you're in numbers. But we're not going to get into that today. I'm talking to the guys that I currently am right now, where I'm trying out high sec really for the first time in a while, or missioning for the first time. Not really completely high sec, but missioning for the first time in a very long while. So, number one is look at your ship. What kind of ship are you flying? Is it something that would automatically have people see you in a system on their directional scanning and go, hey, I want to go blow that up? So let's take a quick look. Obviously, a regular Vexer, without being scanned down, people are not going to be looking at that too much because they see them all the time. Yeah, somebody could blow you up. But in reality, it's not something one of these big pirate or ganking coalitions will look for. Now, as I said earlier, a Vexter Navy issue might be something that they're looking for. Not only because its estimated price right now is 52 million ISK, so that's a nice little kill. But anybody who flies a Vexter Navy issue is going to be outfitting it most likely with some pretty good stuff, and you almost have to expect that the ship itself is going to be outfitted for a probably the same amount, if not more, in the fittings onto the ship as it is the actual ship value. So this 52 million ISK ship on Z Killboard, once you factor in all the equipment, is probably going to be worth 90 to 110,000. I'm sorry, 90 to 110 million ISK, which is a really nice kill for some of these pirate groups. So recognize what you're flying, and know that you might be a target. And that as soon as you undock, there is an option. Don't let your guard down for that. Now I'm going to go one level farther for that, because this is a ship that I want to fly, and it's a ship that a lot of people fly. Now I think it has been tweaked downward just a little bit recently, but I really don't care about that because I'm not power gaming. I'm flying these ships because I want to fly them. And that is the Tech 2 version of the Vexer, and that is your Ishtar. Now, I'm not going to go into the stats here. That'll be for down the road. But it is basically the big brother of the Ishkur in my mind. It's got your drone bonuses. It's got sentry drone ability. It's got heavy drone flying ability. Um, but it's also got the assault damage controls that it can use. So big bonus there. Um, Now it doesn't have the armor repair bonuses, but we're not too worried about that. It doesn't have the guns. It's mostly your drone boat. But the big thing to look at here is the estimated price right now is 197 million ISK. So you fly this sucker in high sec, you better be ready to be keeping your eyes out for anyone that might be possibly in a pirate faction. You better know your area. You better know the people that are around you. Now that goes directly into what I want to talk about. So when they say high sec is more dangerous than low sec and null sec, now null sec is less dangerous for two reasons. Number one, you're probably either flying in an area with friends of yours who have, that if you're in a nullsec alliance or corporation, so you probably have intel reports and stuff like that. Plus, a lot of these ganking groups will not go out there. Number two, um, it's a lot less people that are out there. So if somebody does come into your system, you're going to notice it. Whereas if you're in a high sec and you're in a system of, 10 or 15 people, you might not notice that random guy who shows up and sneaks up on you or scans you down. So that his friends can come in and blow you up, like it might happen in high sec. Same thing in low sec. Low sec, if you pick specific areas, you can be flying around by yourself for a while. There's a lot of areas in EVE that don't have a whole lot of population, especially in low sec. Areas like Iridia, areas like, let's see here, I think I've got, let me just pull up the map here. Dotland Universe. I'm just going to name off a few real quick. So Iridia is usually pretty quiet. Things like Molden Heath can be quiet at times, but it is not a whole lot. It's iffy on that one. It's just to show you, there aren't a whole lot of systems in here. So it's either quiet as heck or not, depending on who's living there at the time. Areas that I like are actually your NPC nullsec areas like the Great Wildlands or Curse, even Stain, as scary as it could be, if you can figure out different spots there, isn't too bad. Syndicate has some movement in it, and the thing I've noticed with Syndicate is you have a lot of pockets here, which normally pockets mean that some large corporation has moved into these areas. Now there's one area, I could like to call it the spider web up here. This is not a no way that somebody could kind of hold a pocket here, but there is a lot of in and out and a lot of PvPers that are looking just to kill something out here, especially jumping gate to gate, so you want to be careful there. So now one of my favorite places to do some hunting, or unless I get really good, but if I'm trying to do some PvE, not a great area. Spots that I don't mind, Great Wildlands, Curse, Stain, aren't too bad at all. I don't know a lot about areas up here, but I know Vino can be a little bit scary. But those are some good areas. The last place that I like to point out for people that are good for doing a little bit, and this is not foolproof, 100% not foolproof, especially by the more expensive you fly of the ships that you have. But I'm going to use an example here of Molden Heath. And this is one of the first ones I ever come, and people talk about this all the time, but this is an island system of high-sec systems. So if you want to try out more expensive ships, this is a constellation right here, going down to here. a little bit off the constellation, but high-sec systems that you have to go through low-sec to get to. You cannot travel from the main high-sec systems to this area without going through low-sec. And ironically, a lot of your ganker groups do not like to go out into low-sec. They like their little areas out here in high-sec where they can kill miners and not deal with anybody who might want to fight you. Now, does this mean you're completely safe? No, not at all. But if you want to do some missioning, there are some spots like this. You've got that area there. If you come down here to the largest area is actually Solitude. You've got a large area down here. You've got a small island area up this way. Again, do I know who lives down here right now? No. But I can tell you it's probably not a ganker group, or at least a large ganker group, because you have to go through high-sec to get, or I'm sorry, you have to go through low-sec to get to these areas. So if you still want to do some missioning with an expensive ship, these are some good areas to maybe try out. So, I know there was something else. Maybe that's it. So, do you guys want to see me? How much time have I got here? Let's see here. Oh, we're at 26 minutes. Wow, I talked a lot. I apologize. So, long story short, I'm going to be doing some more work the next 3 days. It's pretty busy at work right now. So, I'm going to end the video now. But I will keep flying this Ishkur for quite a while as I learn different things. And I'm thinking as I get better at this, I'll be able to then move into either a Vexter Navy issue or a better ship than that, and then keep growing from there. But you guys have any ideas, tricks, thoughts, places that can be flown around without any issues? Hit me up, let me know in the comment sections if you have any ideas for this fit here. This is just a pure PvE fit with the skills that I have. So if there's an item that I want to throw on here, but I don't have the skills for, you tell me about it, and maybe I'll throw it into the skills and get it up and running so that maybe I can do that. Because if I go with the same style of ship when it's small, the bonuses a lot of times will carry over to when I get into the larger ships. So then I just have to train into like the medium guns or the heavy drones, but I'll still have all those flying and shooting bonuses that I've gotten off of this, and I've learned how to use them. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. If this video helps you save yourself a ship a little bit, there's a lot of other things that you can do to keep yourself safe. I haven't named them all. You just need to learn those, and I'll probably bring them up in other videos. So, hey, that's all I got for today. Any ideas, thoughts, please hit me up. Pilgrim is my in-game name, or you can just comment in the comment section. Hey, that's all I got. Fly safe, fly dangerously, fly hard like you want. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.